Why Europe is building a 57-kilometer tunnel through a mountain. Although the atmosphere here is calm, tranquil, and laid back, work on one of Europe's most significant construction projects is progressing underground. As a future trans-European transport network component, a sizable high-speed railway will run through this area in only a few years. A significant mountain range, however, is the only obstacle in the way. Stay close to the finish of the video, because the information Just Tech has for you will astound you. Construction workers must tunnel farther than ever to traverse this terrain, but the plan has encountered strong opposition and several challenging obstacles. The longest rail tunnel is in the process of construction in the heart of the Alps. It may initially seem straightforward to travel between two of the largest cities in France and Italy, because they are only separated by a few hundred kilometers. Indeed, it takes the train almost 4 hours to traverse the mountains. Several parts of the tortuous path were built centuries ago, and some claim they no longer adhere to international standards. Since 1871, there has been a Fréjus tunnel, but it's simply too narrow now. Trains use more energy than on a flat track, since only one tube and the line was built on a slope. The original lines over this pass, including the Brenner, the Simplon, the Gotthard, and the Fréjus, were constructed to a different standard and grade because they were built in the late 19th century, mid to late 19th, and early 20th centuries. It was a mountain range. Due to their severe gradients, they occasionally need to be more suited for contemporary freight traffic. Despite its drawbacks, many still fondly remember this old infrastructure modified for modern trains in the 2000s. It was the longest train tunnel in the world when it was finished, where innovations like dynamite excavation and pneumatic drilling were made. The line, however, has become considerably less used over time and must now make room for something significant. The Trans-European Transport Network, a vast web of new and improved transportation linkages throughout Europe, has been under construction since 2013. 9 major routes, including the ScanMed, extend from Finland to Malta. The Fehmarn Fixed Connection and the Brenner Base Tunnel, a 55-kilometer railway over the Alps, are being built. Yet even a giant hole, the Mulsanne Base Tunnel, is necessary to complete the 3,000-kilometer, 2,000-mile Mediterranean corridor, which runs from east to west and connects Hungary to Spain. It is the primary engineering component of the long-discussed new rail connection between Lyon and Turin. It will surpass Brenner and the Gotthard Base Tunnel, completed in 2016, as the longest single rail tunnel in the world, and 57.5 kilometers. The cleverly named Lyon-Turin line will travel far deeper down than the current railway, eliminating all ascents and providing a more direct path. Yet it also requires much more mountainous rock to be tunneled through. That's why it's called a base tunnel. Instead of climbing higher, traveling up the valley, and attempting to find the shortest place to cross the mountain, your line must be very gently inclined. Of course, you have to be at the foot of the hill for your tunnel to be as long as most of these base tunnels, which are 50, 55, or 60 kilometers instead of 13. It will have more than 270 kilometers, designed for freight and people, with 70% of the line in France and the remaining 30% in Italy. The French and Italian governments jointly own TELT, which is responsible for constructing and managing the cross-border segment. The funding is also approached together. The estimated cost of the entire route is $27 billion, of which $9 billion will go toward the main tunnel. Italy contributes 35% of the funding, the EU provides 40%, and France provides 25%. The new line promises significant environmental advantages and is a crucial connection in the European network. Once in service, the railway is anticipated to remove more than 1 million trucks from the road, resulting in a 3 million ton annual reduction in CO2 emissions. Also, it will cut the current travel time between the two cities by 2 hours. Technology has advanced somewhat with the new tunnel, but the concept is identical for most of the work completed. Construction teams still use a conventional drill and blast to pass through the rugged ground. This requires using traditional explosives and huge drilling machinery that chisels through the rock. But modern techniques are also being used for a mega project of this scale in the 21st century, including enormous tunnel boring machines, or TBMs. Indeed, you can employ more than one type of excavation, since you cannot conduct the typical coring and sampling for subways, which only involves going on the surface. You must instead take some samples along the route that your subway would take, which would be 15, 20, or more meters below the surface. This prevents you from having a complete understanding of what is underground. They construct exploratory tunnels. We're glad to know that this knowledge is keeping you interested. We attempted to collect all these unique studies and would appreciate it if you could subscribe to our channel and click the like button. To understand what's inside, a lot of work has been done. In other words, you must first dig. A fifth of 162 kilometers of underground sections, including access tunnels and shafts, have already been created. Most of the building occurred between 2015 and 2019. After that, only a little happened for a long time because of the epidemic, and since it needed to be clarified which company would handle the remaining job. 3 large contracts were signed in 2021, but only in France. The main tunnel's entry portal is currently being constructed. In 2023, the strategy for finishing construction in Italy will be revealed. There's a long way to go on the base tunnel itself. On the French side, only a little more than 10 kilometers had been covered in one direction. This was accomplished by utilizing a great TBM named Federica, which spent 3 years tunneling through the geology of the highlands. When done, it was disassembled and removed through one of the tunnels constructed earlier. On the remaining portions of the project, another 7 TBMs will be employed. To make a massive tunnel like this, you must dig somewhat uphill and horizontally. Why? Because you need ventilation, primarily to keep the air breathable and smoke-free in case the tunnel needs to be evacuated. 4 500-meter deep ventilation shafts, every 5.2 meters in diameter, are being built at the Mont-Cenis Base Tunnel. That is higher than the World Financial Center in Shanghai. They are created by drilling a tiny hole into the tunnel and fitting a particular cutting head. The result is a raised boring machine excavating the shaft from the bottom up. The line is scheduled to conclude in 2032, so much work remains. The Lyon-Turin Railway has come under some criticism. It has been opposed by the No TAV movement in Italy for many years. Originating region? The Susa Valley, we guess. Treno Alta Velocità, or TAV, stands for high-speed rail. The group has organized several protests, some of which drew tens of thousands of participants, while others led to altercations with the police. They contend that the line will cause too much land damage, and that the money would be better used for other services, such as hospitals. Although the path has been altered in the past to allay their fears, many people are still adamantly opposed to the project. Even the mayor of Lyon has called for the project to be stopped due to opposition in France. According to opponents, the environmental impact has been criticized, monies should be allocated to the current line, and millions of euros meant for regional train projects have allegedly instead gone to roads. Despite this, the project progresses with continued government and EU support. Promoting this project as a high-speed line, which it is not, was a poor political decision. Even if there is a market for high-speed rail between France and Italy, it needs to be more significant to support a full base tunnel. Nevertheless, if it's anything like how it was done in Switzerland, the Gotthard Base Tunnel wasn't built for the 2 to 3 passenger trains that use it every hour, but rather for the countless freight trains that use it every day to travel from northern Italy to Germany and back. The Lyon-Turin line may have seen more significant strain than usual, especially for a high-speed railway, but it is already gaining momentum. Let's hope it doesn't take a few more decades to finish. There are numerous benefits for both nations and the enormous continent, including the promise of lower carbon trade and travel, and the addition of a crucial piece to Europe's transportation puzzle. There are few more impressive or ambitious construction projects, though the towns caught in the middle may have differing views. How do you feel about the 57-kilometer tunnel? Is this helpful in the future? Let us know what you think by leaving a comment below. If you enjoyed the video, remember to click the like button and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate you watching it, and we'll see you in the following video.